July 14th, 2026, A Life of Meditation. Help the Lord and carry my cross. Dear beloved saints, I pray you are resting into the Lord's peace today. In our daily lives, we often shrink back because of our weaknesses and shortcomings, thinking we are too insignificant to live according to God's will. The world endlessly demands strength and perfection from us, teaching that weakness is shameful and a failure. But remember this, the Lord's almighty power is made perfect in our weakness, and through the very frailty we are ashamed of, He reveals God's living glory most greatly and magnificently. As the word says, everyone who confesses the name of the Lord must turn away from wickedness. The strength we should pursue is not worldly conditions, but emptying ourselves daily to become a noble and clean vessel, useful to the Master. On the rough path up to Golgotha in Jerusalem, under the scorching sun, and amidst the mockery and criticism of a massive crowd, Jesus was laboriously walking, carrying the heavy cross that bore the sins of humanity. Having already reached his physical limits through flogging and torture, the Lord eventually could not endure the heavy burden and collapsed to the ground. In that harsh, oppressive, and desperate moment, the Roman soldiers forced Simon of Cyrene, who happened to be passing by on his way in chief from the country, to take it up, and they made him carry the cross in place of the fallen Jesus. Gripped by momentary anger and fear, Simon probably wanted to step back, resenting, "Why must I carry this shameful cross?" However, the moment he met the Lord's gentle and merciful gaze, he realized that human strength and plans were nothing. The burden of the cross that the Lord himself bore was a holy legacy that could never be carried without the Lord's power. Upon the weak space we have cleanly emptied out ourselves. When Simon acknowledged his weakness and carried that cross relying on the Lord's help, he finally became a noble and clean vessel, participating in the Lord's suffering, like a good soldier of Christ. What is the spiritual cross swallowing our hearts today? Are we hesitating to witness to the gospel, considering our weakness a shame? After collapsing in exhaustion from trying to fulfill God's will with our own strength, the Holy Spirit dwelling within us daily supplies the holy power to more than conquer any suffering in the world through our frail lives. Firmly believe that the Lord you trust will safely guard what He has entrusted to you until the end of the age. If there is a small fading spark deep within your heart, let us honestly confess our weakness before the Lord today and rely solely on His almighty hand. When we are not the least ashamed of the suffering we endure for the gospel and willingly carry the cross entrusted to us, the Lord will most safely and greatly protect our lives and souls until the end of the age. Meditation and application. The first meditation is honestly acknowledging my weakness and relying on the Lord's strength. Today, did I try to hide my frailty out of fear of others' eyes or worldly standards, or did I complain and become discouraged, forgetting that the Lord knows those who are His, while trying to navigate the rough storms solely with my own strength? The Lord's power is made perfect in our weakness. Today, lay down all the worldly threats and worries that agitate your heart before the Lord. Let us offer a prayer of contentment, satisfied only with Jesus, the sole provider of our lives, and fully trust into the Lord's almighty hand working within our weakness. The second meditation is becoming a good soldier who willingly carries the entrusted cross. Even though I inherited a legacy of sincere faith from my parents and seniors in faith, have I lived burying that gift due to the comfort of my flesh and the constraints of my environment? Just as a small spark starts a great fire, we must fan into flame the spiritual graces given to us. Today, let us not be ashamed or overwhelmed by the mission entrusted to us or our service to the community, but let us seek the Holy Spirit's help and carefully guard the cross entrusted to us. As we silently participate in the Lord's suffering like Simon, the Lord will safely guide our future until the end of the age.